Alex Jones here with Infowars.com. This is going to be a quick video report, and I'll be live today on the radio, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. And again, the best website to find the live stream or a list of AM and FM affiliates to hear the show is Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com. Okay, I got up a few hours ago and saw this linked on the Drudge Report. It was the top story linked in red. It's now moved down to the number 2 story in the right-hand column. DHS video. White middle-class Americans most likely terrorist. Now, I told you for years, from watching Homeland Security meetings on C-SPAN and reading their own documents and being sent secret Homeland Security documents, which we published and made national news, MIAC report, Homeland Security reports, DHS training manuals, SLAT training manuals, training videos, that the number one threat that they internally teach police is white Americans. And then even worse, they say, are returning veterans, conservatives, libertarians, in the fetters, people that support Ron Paul. You remember all that news. Yes, it broke at Infowars.com. Now, looking at this new video you can watch is one of the See Something, Say Something campaign videos they have, produced at taxpayer expense. At 840 plus Walmarts, they've got telescreens that are in. We've shot videos of these now saying don't trust anybody, only the government, watch your neighbors. And you watch it, and it cuts to like white women and shows their eyes animated flashing blue. And it shows out of 20 plus terrorists, they show one Muslim, and it's all minorities, or really the majority, black folks and people reporting white people. And the message is 100% clear. They are now migrating publicly the whole Al-Qaeda fear of the Muslim fetish, give up your rights because they're hiding under every table, to implanting a fear in Hispanics, blacks, and others that it's the man, it's whitey. He's the terrorist. And then they use examples like Jihad Jane, a mentally ill provocateur they set up, and her eyes that are animated to shine blue like a frozen glacier. They're animated. It shows McVeigh. That, of course, was an ATF operation. The feds have declassified part of that. Well, they declassified one document and blacked out part of it, and then declassified the same document years later and blacked out the other part, and we got both combos together. And that's all been covered and even been in the Denver Post and the Salt Lake City newspapers. Oh, yeah, look into it. And the ATF did a test bomb with a Ryder truck months before, and the list goes on and on. The point is,
we have a very important broadcast lined up for you today. We have some in-studio guests, but first I want to direct you, if you're a radio listener, to our top story today. It's up at drudgereport.com. It was the top story. It's now moved to the second story in the right-hand column. DHS training video. White middle-class Americans are the #1 terror threat. It's also the top story at Infowars.com. It's an Infowars.com story. DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorists. That is coming up in a detailed report and analysis of their brainwashing program and exactly what they're attempting to do with the divide and conquer system at the bottom of the hour, 33 after. Going back to Drudge, we're also going to cover another story that is there, and that is America's era in space ends. That is what NASA's telling us. Now we've got to go through the UN, the International Space Station, the Russians. Home at last, Atlantis makes historic final landing as the 30-year shuttle program comes to a glorious end. And I have a whole stack of deindustrialization, post-technological reports, how it is the stated design that the West be deindustrialized and only private corporate technological reservations be allowed to develop high-tech systems. It's all part of the economic development zones. It's all part of the inland ports. It's all part of the university/corporate systems with Google and others. We're going to break down this key area coming up today as well. But first, I want to get into all of the other news. Pause for a moment. because I will tend to spin out and my RPMs will go up too high, and I won't calmly go over every aspect of this next report. DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorists, and I shot a video breaking down the different facets of this morning. Big Sis tries to turn minorities against whites by labeling whites terrorists. That report is up on Infowars.com as well. Our main report, DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorists, is on the right-hand side of Drudge. Second story down, was top story earlier, red linked. I'm glad Matt Drudge of DrudgeReport.com recognizes what is big news. Big Sis tries to turn minorities against whites by labeling them terrorists. I wrote this little blurb this morning. Watson's article is more detailed. See something, say something. TV ads sell the false idea that white terrorists are hiding under every rock, and only Big Brother can keep minorities safe from the vicious, wicked white killers. For 9 years, this has been taught to police behind closed doors. We have the training manuals, the training videos sent to us by good police. We have warned of this for years, that first, governments throughout history get rid of the country's liberties and freedoms by going after an unpopular minority group. Hitler, it was the Jews, communists, stuff like that. Here, it was the Muslims. The system stages the events, provocateurs, nutcases. It's a whole grab bag of different types of provocateur terror. Then they build the architecture of the police state for the general public. So they have white audiences where they say, we're going after the brown people. Then they go to the brown audiences and they say, we're going after the white people. And that's what this nearly 10-minute Department of Homeland Security video does. But it's worse than that. We have all the different training manuals sent to us by police and military over the years that we've published and have made national news. Homeland Security, MIAC, the list goes on. And in the training, over 90% is for what? Remember a few years ago, veterans seen as the #1 terror threat returning home? Remember a few months ago, okay, finally Congress voted for health care for the military, police, and fire veterans in 9/11, but you got to go through a terror database every time you get your health care? They're setting that precedent. Ron Paul supporters, Bob Barr supporters, people that like America, freedom to fascism, people that like Alex Jones. This is in the different manuals. And then they say these groups are connected to racism. So they make it about being white by saying, oh, they're connected to white supremacists when there's no connection. Meanwhile, Hal Turner, one of the top Nazis, it turns out, in federal court, high-level FBI operative for decades, working, of course, with Sean Hannity. That came out. Just look up Hal Turner, Sean Hannity. Very bizarre. These people are operatives. By the way, that's in the news today, that they ran black op intelligence systems. London Telegraph reports that News Corps, its division in England, was running black op intelligence operations, and that their reporters were basically private contractor agents working with MI6. Of course they are, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know about Operation Mockingbird here in the United States? I mean, we're in deep, 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 deep trouble. And so they branded the war on terror with, we're taking the rights away, but we're only going to enforce it on the evil Muslims, in quotes. Now it's, oh my gosh, the white Al-Qaeda. And in every one of the scenarios, except one, in a 10-minute video, it's, quote, minorities, Asians, blacks, Hispanics, reporting on the evil whites. And it just goes on and on and on. Despite encouraging viewers not to pay attention to the person's race and determining whether or not they may be a terrorist, almost all the scenarios in the clip proceed to portray white people as the most likely terrorists. Bizarrely, nearly every single one of the patriotic Americans who reports on their fellow citizens is either black, Asian, or Arab. Imagine if the video portrayed every terrorist as an Arab and every patriotic snoop as white. There'd be an outcry, and rightly so. But, you know, Beelzebub's working with Jesus. I mean, this is just so ridiculous. Or that night is day. But that's what they do in the training manuals. Now they're going public. All the major ROTC training, the Scout Explorers, what do they train in college and in middle school? And all these programs, kill the malicious, kill the gun owners, kill the disgruntled veteran. You want me to show you the New York Times article? I can show you a bunch of others. Hey, let's put that up. First line of the article. Explorer scouts trained to take on terrorists. And then the first line is, they trained to take on disgruntled Iraq war vets. And then it shows the photos of them with paintball killing the veterans. If you got a bird dog, you train it to go after quail, or you train it to go after pick up the dove or the duck. If you got a coon hound, you train it to go tree a coon. The military and the police are trained to take on the veterans. And we've got the training manuals from every stinking federal agency. ATF, FBI, federal marshals, state police, Homeland Security master documents. I've published them all. Okay? I've tried over and over again to call dozens of numbers on air. You've seen me. They don't answer the hotlines. It's all fake. It's all fake. There it is. Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more. And you scroll down, first paragraph. You can look at the dozens. They've got like 20-something photos in the gallery. 10 minutes into an errant mayhem in his town near the Mexican border, a gunman, a disgruntled Iraq war veteran, has already taken 2 people hostage. See. It's casting the vets as killing people. He's already taken out 2 people. One slumped in his desk, the other covered in blood. It doesn't matter. The scouts go in and take out that Iraq war veteran scum. I mean, this is how they do it. I've been to the urban warfare drills for 16 years and watched them with Boy Scouts. This is in Police Day 2000, shot in 1998 in Hebron, Maryland, where the police chief comes over with Marines with machine guns, with heavy guns, and says, turn your camera off, you're not taping it. Well, they had another camera guy who did get it on tape. It was what looked like 10 to 12-year-old groups in little white T-shirts, they could be identified, of Boy Scouts working to come out and tell them what guns were in Mommy and Daddy's house. Oh, this was confirmed. Now, you know where I'm a little freaked out? No, the government's evil was going to stage terror attacks before 9/11. Because in all their RAND Corporation public documents, they said they would use terror to destroy the Republic, to destroy our freedoms, to destroy the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And they are now pell-mell hyping 24 get ready. Yeah, they're going to hit right when the banks are robbing everybody, so you'll still put your flag outside and go grovel to government and tattle on your neighbors. What would a normal American do if they went to urban warfare drills and watched young children training to report on their parents? You would get a chat. I remember 2 years ago up in Arcadia, Iowa, it was in the newspaper that the local gun show practice being shut down confiscation in the town of 700, and they've all agreed to take part. School children will be helping. And I came out and said it was a gun confiscation drill, and the paper freaked out on me and said the town's gotten thousands of calls. People are coming here. Yes, it was going to be a gun confiscation drill, but for Iraq. And the government just got caught shipping guns into Mexico to blame it on the Second Amendment red-handed, and they don't even care. They're still going ahead with the false flag. It'd be like if they caught the feds that day red-handed at Oklahoma City. And you know there's been more deaths from the 30-something thousand guns they shipped than what died, 168 or whatever it was at Oklahoma City. It'd be like catching them red-handed there. And now we catch the feds all over the country. Prices, fully auto, you name it, grenade launchers, whatever you need, directly to the drug gangs who are in their employ to knock out the other drug gangs. It's going on nationwide. It's not just Mexico. Of course, the feds run the $500 billion in narcotics money. Do you think some local zit-faced crack dealer is laundering that money? $500 billion a year. And then the hundreds of billions out of the private prisons with the slave labor working for 25 cents an hour, displacing all of our jobs. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's 100% proven. Now, they're all their little spies primed. All their little minions that if you see somebody leave the bag, on a bench while they go throw something in the trash to panic and start screaming and, Homeland Security, it's a white guy, put that bag down.